The diplomatic hall stretched across 300 meters of polished obsidian floor, its ceiling lost in darkness above. Representatives from 47 species had gathered on Station Harmony, each hoping to forge the sacred bond with Princess Vela of the Luminar Empire. The alliance would bring unimaginable wealth, military protection, and access to technologies that could reshape civilizations. Yet the hall remained eerily quiet. Princess Vela stood at the center of the platform, her form draped in flowing silver robes that seemed to absorb and reflect light in impossible patterns. Her species, the Luminari, were known throughout the galaxy as the most advanced civilization in recorded history. They had mastered dimensional travel, could manipulate matter at the quantum level, and possessed psychic abilities that bordered on prescient. Their empire spanned 12 galaxies, and their military had never known defeat. But Princess Vela had been born without eyes, where other Luminari possessed 3 brilliant orbs that could perceive across multiple spectrums simultaneously. Vela's face held only smooth, opalescent skin. The genetic anomaly had appeared without warning, and despite their advanced science, the Luminari could not correct it. She navigated the world through her other senses and her considerable psychic abilities, but in a culture that prized visual perception above all else. She was considered incomplete. The bonding ceremony required a voluntary partner from another species. It was an ancient tradition meant to strengthen diplomatic ties through an empathic connection that would last a lifetime. The chosen partner would share thoughts, emotions, and sensations with the princess, becoming her anchor to the physical world and her voice in political matters. No one had volunteered. The reptilian scare delegates whispered among themselves, their forked tongues tasting the air with disdain. The crystalline praxis hummed in frequencies that translated to polite excuses. Even the usually open-minded Queller had sent their regrets through an intermediary. The message was clear across every species. Bonding with a blind princess was beneath them, a waste of an unprecedented opportunity, a burden they could not bear. The human delegation sat in the far corner, largely ignored by the more prominent civilizations. Humanity had only recently achieved interstellar travel, and their presence at such gatherings was often treated as a courtesy rather than a genuine inclusion. They were seen as primitive, violent, and emotionally unstable by most of the galactic community. Tom Rivers sat among the human observers, his worn jacket a stark contrast to the elaborate formal wear of the other delegates. He was not supposed to be there at all. He had come to Station Harmony as a cargo pilot, delivering supplies for the Earth Embassy. A scheduling error had left him with 3 days to kill, and a sympathetic administrator had offered him a spare seat at the ceremony. He watched as the minutes ticked by, as the silence grew more oppressive, as the princess stood with perfect posture, despite the humiliation she must have been experiencing. Her face remained serene, but Tom noticed the slight tremor in her hands, quickly suppressed. He had seen that same gesture in his younger sister, who had lost her sight in an accident years ago. That unconscious vulnerability, that determination to show no weakness in the face of pity or dismissal. The head diplomat from the Luminar Empire finally stepped forward. His voice carried across the hall with formal precision. The bonding ceremony will be postponed. Princess Vela will return to the Imperial home world, where alternative arrangements will be made. Alternative arrangements. Tom understood the euphemism. She would be married off to some minor noble within her own species, her potential wasted, her life reduced to ceremonial appearances and empty titles. The Empire would continue without her unique perspective, without whatever gifts she might have brought to galactic affairs. Tom stood up. The movement caught attention only because of its unexpectedness. Several delegates turned to look at the human with mild curiosity. The Earth ambassador's eyes widened in alarm. Tom ignored them all and walked toward the platform. "I volunteer," he said simply. The hall erupted in shocked murmurs. The luminar diplomat raised one elegant hand, his expression caught between confusion and offense. You are human. Your species has no formal treaty with the Empire. You are not even a registered delegate. The ancient texts don't specify citizenship requirements, Tom replied. He had spent the last hour reading everything available about the ceremony on his handheld terminal. They say any sentient being of good character may volunteer. That's the whole point, isn't it? To build bridges between different peoples. Princess Vela turned her face toward his voice. For the first time since the ceremony began, she spoke. Her words came in flawless galactic standard, but with a melodic quality that suggested she was translating from her native tongue. You understand what the bond entails? It cannot be broken except by death. You would feel what I feel, know my thoughts, share my burdens. Your life would become intertwined with mine in ways your people may not fully comprehend. I understand, Tom said, climbing the steps to stand before her. Up close, he could see that her skin seemed to shift with subtle patterns of light, like oil on water. But I think you're getting the short end of this deal. I'm nobody special. Just a cargo hauler who barely graduated from Basic Academy. I can't offer you much. A ripple of color passed across her face, something that might have been surprise. You perceive this as a potential disadvantage to me? Every other species here was thinking about what they could gain from bonding with you, Tom said. They saw your blindness as a defect that lowered your value. They're idiots. You're the princess of the most advanced civilization in known space. You navigate a complex political landscape without sight better than most beings do with it. What I'm wondering is whether a simple pilot is worthy of bonding with someone like you. The hall had gone completely silent. Princess Vela extended one hand, palm up, in a gesture that seemed to transcend species. Come closer. Tom took her hand. Her skin was cool and smooth, and he felt a tingle of energy pass between them. She tilted her head, as if listening to something only she could hear. Your heart rate increased when you saw the tremor in my hands. You recognized it as a sign of suppressed emotion. You compared me to someone you love. Your sister, who also cannot see. Yeah, Tom said quietly. She's the strongest person I know. Losing her sight taught her to perceive the world in ways that most people never develop. She notices things others miss. I imagine you're the same. I perceive the quantum fluctuations in matter, the gravitational eddies around celestial bodies, the emotional resonances of living minds, Vela said. But I cannot see a sunrise. I cannot watch a child's first steps. I cannot look into someone's eyes and know if they speak truth or lies through visual cues alone. My people consider this an unacceptable limitation. My sister says she doesn't miss what she never really had, but she does miss human connection, Tom replied. People treat her differently now. They're either overly helpful or quietly dismissive. They don't see her anymore, just her disability. I'm guessing you deal with the same thing, multiplied by about 1,000,000. Princess Vela's hand tightened on his. You are unlike any being I have encountered. Your emotional resonance is chaotic, but genuine. You fear inadequacy, yet you step forward anyway. Why? Because someone had to, Tom said. Because you deserve better than being ignored by a room full of pompous politicians who can't see past their own prejudices. And because I think humanity could use an ally who understands what it's like to be underestimated. The luminar diplomat approached, his movements stiff with barely controlled outrage. Princess, surely you do not intend to proceed with this irregular arrangement. This human has no credentials, no family lineage, no political standing whatsoever. He has courage, Vela said simply. He has empathy. He sees me as a person rather than a prize or a burden. These qualities are worth more than all the treaties in the galaxy. She turned back to Tom. If we bond, your life will change irrevocably. You will be bound to the imperial court, subject to protocols and expectations that will feel alien to you. You will share my consciousness, experience my memories, live with the weight of my responsibilities. Are you certain this is what you want? Tom thought about his sister, about the small apartment on Earth where she lived alone, because most people couldn't be bothered to learn how to communicate with her properly. He thought about the casual dismissal in the eyes of the delegates, the assumption that differences equaled defects. He thought about standing up for someone when everyone else walked away. Uncertain, he said that the bonding ritual took less than an hour. It involved ancient words in a language that predated galactic civilization, a sharing of blood and breath, and a moment of profound psychic connection that left Tom gasping. When it was complete, he could feel Vila's presence in his mind like a second heartbeat. Steady and strong and brilliant, the representatives from 47 species watched in stunned silence as the human cargo pilot and the blind princess stood together. Hands clasped, consciousness merged. They had witnessed something none of them had expected, a bond forged not from political calculation or potential gain, but from simple human decency and mutual respect. As they left the hall together, Vala's mental voice resonate.